Hey Aquarius, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings. We take what works, leave what doesn't. If I don't catch a wavelength or storyline here, check your other major placements or just check your other major placements for fun. We're starting with the Oracle deck of Oracle Moonology and Work Your Light Magic, and then we're moving on to a more traditional tarot spread with a new deck, Crow Tarot. And then at the end of the video, I always post pictures of the spreads, so you can check that out. All right, any more messages for Aquarius? I think we got what we got. I kind of didn't want to talk very much today. I didn't feel like talking. So we have the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. See how things get a little scary or strange or narrowed down here. We've got, lightning, difficulty. All of the readings this week have been a little bit difficult. So initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. So, we've got snakes and a little bit of difficulty before we can break through to the other side of something. So a little bit of struggle here, a little bit of fear perhaps, or a little bit more effort. This can also be a rite of passage, right? Like it's graduation time right now. It's, there could be birthdays or rites of passage. I've gotten this card for things like birthdays and stuff like that before, where there's just a leveling up here, crossing some sort of threshold in your life. So for some of you that will be a little bit more difficult. The path narrows. It's like the universe asking you, are you serious about this? Is this really what you want to be doing? And throwing some things at you that might scare you off or frighten you away, these snakes and stuff, so that you if you're not serious about it, go ahead and turn back now. But if you are, you can go through this sort of initiation. It might be a little bit difficult, but it's part of the process, and it's a key part of getting through, of breaking through to where you want to go. So it's not going to be perfectly wonderful sunshine and roses for a moment there. You have to go through something a little bit. It doesn't necessarily have to be like physically difficult or even like horrific or anything. It's just like, universe, are you serious about this? You really want this? Luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius, so you can't see it, right? Our new moons are heading into darkness. We really can't see what lies ahead or what's coming toward us, but this is saying it's for your benefit and it's for luck. So you persevere through this situation. This is going to be great. Also, luck is on your side. Whenever we talk about luck, we talk about, not necessarily knowing what's for our benefit and what's not for our benefit. The Kurt Vonnegut's quote, we know so little about life, we don't know what the good news is and what the bad news is. That's a little bit of this. So this may seem, there may be some difficulty here, but it's actually good news. It's actually for your benefit. It's actually, things are working out for you, even if there's a little bit of a steep and narrow passage that you need to go through. In order to get the grand vista from the top of the mountain, you might have to ford a few streams, climb a few rocks. But you're going to like where you're going. Luck is on your side, even though it may not seem like it right now. It is working out for you. All right, Aquarius. We've got past, present, inner landscape, what's the issue, environment, to-do list, and possible outcome. All right. In your recent, this Crow deck has been a little bit hardcore. So in your recent past, you have Knight of Pentacles. Knights are usually about communication and movement, but here we're just at a standstill. Things are just standing still. At least they're not going backwards. So it's just a standstill here. That's what you've been dealing with in the recent past. Not a lot of movement forward. The King of Pentacles is a bit of an overthinker. No action, lots of thought. I mean, there are benefits to this. We're getting the lay of the land. We're understanding something. We're kind of paused here. Not a lot of movement, but gaining understanding. And there's sort of a situation that's like, it can't go, it's a little bit stuck here. So there might have not been a lot of communication, not a lot of movement. The Knight of Pentacles does like to plod a little bit, very, very slow and steady. But in this one, I'm getting just nothing, and maybe even like some stuck energy, some neither able to move forward nor able to quit. Fascinating. I mean, it's beautiful energy, but there's something beautiful here, but there's also something just a little too sturdy, or not too. It is what it is, right? It's not wrong. It's just the energy's been it's been solid. We've got solid. We don't have, flighty energy or a runaway train energy. We've got some solid energy here. Did I show it to you? It's a Knight of Pentacles. See, this is like a little draft horse, This is like a draft horse, just a very solid energy, but he's just standing there. He's not moving. We don't have any sense of motion or a step. We have something very powerful here that could move. Once it decides to move, it's going to be very powerful. If it decides to move, it's going to be very powerful. But here's where we're getting like a little bit of a choking sensation, or just this bird can't talk because its mouth is full already, right? So there might be just something here that there's just not communication and not movement. That's been your recent past. In your current situation, we have, this card's shown up a little too much for my taste. We have the Nightmare card, 9 of Swords. Technically, this bird is safe in his bed, but we've got sort of intuition being clouded by fears, by thoughts. We've got fears of being caged, fears of being trapped, fears of being stuck, right? And this energy, this Knight of Pentacles energy, could really give that sensation too, a fear of being stuck and being trapped somewhere. So right now you're technically, everything's fine. Is it great? Possibly not. Is it a nightmare? No, but you're feeling it. You're feeling this sort of like these fears and this sense of I mean, there's just like a lot of trapped imagery here. You're feeling very stuck and afraid, and you're kind of stuck in these fears. You're dealing with some fears right now. The anxieties are more in your head, right? Because this is beautiful, right? Like, this is beautiful. There's a lot of stasis here and a lot of stuckness here, and maybe even an inability to communicate or move forward out of this situation. And this is starting to create some anxiety and panic. Even though the situation isn't horrible, it's just not mobile. It's just not moving. It's not horrible. It's not like a total nightmare. It's just the difficulty is its lack of movement and a sense of being caged and stuck in a stagnant situation. Your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape, this is about resources. 6 of Pentacles. This is about having the flow of resources balance out, having a flow this is about generosity, and this is also to me about the overall balance of the universe, and waiting for your turn. So you're hoping that you're waiting for your turn for the resources to flow to you. This crow is saying, I need some resources, please. Is it my turn for the fish yet? I'd like some resources to come to my way. So as resources flow, they can flow over here and then over here and then over here. And while the resources are flowing over here, this person over here may be like, what about me? What about me? And then while they're flowing over here, this person over here is like, what about me? So there's a sense though of wanting some resource balance, wanting wealth to come in, feeling ready to benefit from that wealth, from that flow. and wanting some sort of, I mean, it's all in service. Any lack you felt has all been in service of overall balance, but there's a sense of wanting this to, being ready to receive something, or receive money and resources. Oh, this is interesting. Capricorn just got this one too. In your, what's that issue here is the Hierophant, in reverse. So that's going to be something very non-traditional. And it's also going to have a lack of clarity with it. Like one thing, the Hierophant can be a bit of a stagnant, very traditional energy. It can be, you know, institutional energy. So we don't have an institution here. We have some freelancing. We have some lack of next steps, right? So the one thing you do know about the institution is all the steps are pretty laid out here. You do this, you get this reward. You do this, you get this reward. And it's all laid out and the steps are laid out. And if you want to ascend in the power dynamics, there's a lot of, you know, it's not always 100% clear, but there's a lot of clear structure there, right? And the Hierophant sides more with structure rather than inspiration. But here we have in the reverse, inspiration but no structure, inspiration but no clarity, inspiration but some sense of chaos, and no institution to support that inspiration, no maybe even habits, or routines that support a desire, that support a hope, or that spark, right? So we may have a spark going on, we may have desires going on, but we don't have the routines or the institutions or the schedule or the what do I want to say, structure to support the desire. There's not a lot of structure here, and again, it could be a freelance idea or or where you're not working for somebody, you're working for yourself. So there's just a total lack of structure, and it's bring your own structure kind of situation. Like if there's going to be structure and there's going to be steps to do, you have to supply those. Those aren't being supplied by your environment or by the situation itself. And there's no known route through, like we're talking about this initiation and this route through, like here there's at least a path. This is like pathless bushwhacking. You just heading east through the wilderness here. Like, I don't know, we're going to get somewhere, but I don't know how we're going to get there. So there's not a clear path. There's not a road. There's not even a trail here. There's just like out in the wilderness, just trying to make your way in a direction, but there's no structure around it. In your environment, you have a lot of options. So that's great. Lots of options, choices. So you can make a lot of choices. There's a lot of ways to go. In some ways that like is less structure. That's contributing to the lack of structure. Is like, well, which way do I go? I only have so much time. I only have so much money. I only have so much resources. I can't take all of these choices at once. So there's a lot of choices, a lot of options, a lot of ways to go. Your intuition is possibly going to be a guide, but also this is about debating. This is more about an intellectual debate about what you want. There's something here that is more, that might be a little more obvious or a little bit more what you want, but you've got to go through this whole debate process, pro-con list kind of thing. But also just there's a lot of choices in your environment. There's a lot of ways you could go, and it's almost overwhelming, and there's not like a clear direction here. There's just like these two cards together. It's just there's a lot of options, and it's really not clear. There's not like, this isn't a known path. You're way off the beaten path here. You know, this is like having gotten off the beaten path and left the trail. How do you get back to the trail? There's a lot of options, a lot of ways to get back to the trail, but which one's going to be best for you? Which one's going to be safest? Which one's going to be a good, you can get back. You're way off the trail here though. And it's almost like a little bit confusing and overwhelming trying to figure out how to get, either if you want to get back on track or how to create this trail, or there's just too many options in your environment. And so there might be so many options that it feels like there aren't any options, because there's just like a lot of options. Your to-do list. Oh my. Aquarius, your to-do list. I like it. You're just cutting through the bullshit. Knight of Swords. Just move quick, move precisely. Just, if you see something that you want, it's like make an instinctual move and communicate clearly. Like, this is the energy you've been in. This is the energy you need to embody. This is the energy that's been dominating here. This solid, it's safe-ish for the most part. It's been safe. It's been secure. There's been a lot of security here, a lot of safety here, maybe even clinging to the security. But it's become sort of a nightmare situation. You're really worried about resources. You're concerned about money. You're concerned about the flow of money and resources, but there's no clear way forward. There's a lot of options, almost overwhelming options. And this is you. Just move precisely. Communicate clearly, precisely. Quick movement. It's like this is days and weeks, moving very quickly, communicating very quickly, very clearly. Knight of Swords. Swords energy is pretty fast. It's pretty sharp. It's pretty clear. I think you're bringing your own clarity here. Bringing your own clarity and just moving forward with something. Right? Because we have the Nine of Swords sitting above it, and I want to add this Knight of Swords to it, this one sword here, and then we get sort of a Ten of Swords. This can like bring the end of this situation. Is going to be a quick, precise movement. Even though it seems almost impossible with all these options and no clear path forward, it's just like you've got to take a chance. You've got to take a leap. You've got to move forward. If this is about a relationship, you've just got to communicate. You've just got to be clear. Bring in some clear communication. Move it forward. This is a leap forward in understanding, a leap forward in communication, and just cut through this nightmare, cut through this bullshit, and leap forward. Easier said than done. This might be the initiation, though. This rite of passage is out of this like dark, icky, weird spot. Is this this leap forward. I like the Knight of Swords too, because I don't know, there's something about this precise arrow heading into this darkness, into this unknown. And then where you're well, apparently you're going to be really happy. Take a leap, communicate clearly, and here's where you're headed. A lot. 9 of Cups. Happiness, and also there's a sense of wanting to be recognized. Like, I did this and I'd like you to see it. I'm proud of what I've done and I'm not going to hide it. There's a sense of showing off. There's a sense of building a website to show off what you've accomplished, what you've made, what you do. A sense of displaying it, displaying your work. This is like, you know, an actor sharing their reel with people, or making the reel and sharing it. Like, this is what I do. This is what I've done. These are examples of my work. Please enjoy it. So you're heading to some place where you're going to be proud of where you are. You're going to be confident enough and happy enough with it to want to talk about it, to want to show people it, to want to display it. But it's requiring... I just see this precise leap and communication, clear communication, a new understanding, communicating an idea. You have to very clearly communicate an idea. I think you're going to be pretty happy about where it goes, even though you don't know, right? But we've got luck is on your side, and we've got definitely something, you're headed towards something you're going to be very proud of. So, all right, Aquarius, I hope that was helpful for you. Thanks for your likes, subscribes, and comments, and I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.